welcome. So excited to have you guys here at the Decoded Conference. So really quick introduction. My name is Stacy. I lead the Retail Insights team here at SupplyPike, and I am joined this morning by Carter King. He is a senior product manager, one of the SupplyPike OGs. He is amazing and knows a lot about a lot of things. And today he is going to be walking us through one of our newest products called Document Explorer here at SupplyPike. So if you guys are just now joining us for the first time, wanted to give you a very quick introduction on who SupplyPike is. We are a Northwest Arkansas-based software company, and what we do is we create cloud-based tools and applications that help our CPG partners essentially reduce revenue loss. Again, if you guys have been here with us from this morning, you know the space can be painful, it can be confusing to get through, and we try to create tools that make this journey a little bit easier, a little bit less painful for you to go after every dollar that you're owed, basically. So we do this in a couple of different ways. We have Deductions Navigator, which is one of our retail deductions recovery tools. We have compliance tools around Walmart's OTIF program. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we also have another tool called Document Explorer, which Carter, again, is going to talk to us about today. Really excited for him to do that walkthrough for us. So SupplyPike, we work with over 400 different companies today, representing over $25 billion in retail impact, over about 50 different product categories. Again, some of these are the companies that we're working with today. And hopefully, if we're not working with you guys already, we will be able to do that someday soon. So I'm going to go ahead and, blaze through these slides really quickly to help set the stage a little bit on kind of why we've created Document Explorer and kind of the problems that we think that it's solving. And then Carter is going to take over after that and actually walk us through a demo of how the application actually works. As Carter mentioned in our previous session, we talked a lot about shipping related deductions and shortages. We just know, working again with over 400 companies, that these are really the most common issues that we see for a lot of our suppliers as they relate to deductions across just about every retailer. Today we work with Walmart, Target, and Kroger. We will be launching in Amazon. I think today is actually the launch day, which is kind of exciting. And again, across all retailers, we continue to see shipping related issues as kind of the number one problem that our suppliers face. Again, I'm probably preaching to the choir. You guys all know it gets very difficult to keep track of all of the different processes, all of the different shipping documents that are required to actually successfully dispute these deductions. It just results in a lot of lost revenue because everybody is busy trying to put out fires all the time. Who has time to log into 10 different portals and 10 different carrier places to try and get all of this information? So, disputing without automation today is extremely time consuming. And of course, again, we're all busy trying to do a lot of things all at once, and you create situations where, human errors happen from time to time. So with that and knowing that, we created Document Explorer. And to us, it's basically the single source of truth that allows you to automatically search your carriers and your warehouses for all of these required shipping documents so that you are not looking for that kind of proverbial needle in the haystack. So I don't want to steal too much of Carter's thunder, but just some of the cool things are, number one, we're integrating everything into a single portal so you can get all of your documents in one place. We store all this information indefinitely, which is really nice because there are some carriers like UPS and FedEx that will actually purge documents after 90 days. So when you're finally ready to get to those deductions, because you finally have time to do it, you try and log in and get that information and it's gone. We kind of of eliminate that issue for you as a supplier. And then we also have extremely strong OCR, or optical character recognition technology, that basically, allows us to kind of read documents, even PDFs, and automatically associate them with the right POs and right invoices and right claims. So again, you're not having to go through this 150-page master BOL and try and look for the right one, screenshot it, attach it, so on and so forth. So yeah, I am going to kind of leave it at that, because again, I don't want to steal Carter's thunder. I will be kind of monitoring the chat and the Q&A. So if you guys have any questions for Carter as he's kind of going through the product, feel free to drop that in, and I'll make sure that he hears them and we get to your questions. But without further ado, Carter, I will go ahead and stop sharing so that you can share your screen instead.
Perfect. Thanks for the intro, Stacy. And let me share my screen here. All right. So excited to give you guys a demo of the Document Explorer application today. This is, you'll see kind of within the SupplyPike suite of products. Document Explorer, as Stacy mentioned, is our newest one. The idea or kind of technology behind Document Explorer has been around for a while. So it is, what we found as we built out Deductions Navigator for retailers now, we found, well, really it's a tedious process to dispute deductions, but one of the most tedious and time-consuming pieces is gathering the proof documentation. So that's the problem that we're aiming to solve with Document Explorer, is doing that all ahead of time. So if and when you get those untimely disputes, you have all of the necessary proof documentation kind of already perfectly formatted, digitized, easily searchable, and ready to go and make that dispute. So I want to quickly just show you, this is Document Explorer. And what we're looking at here is basically our PO number page. So that's how we kind of have everything organized, since that is generally how deductions are taken by retailers, is for a specific PO number. So we do all of that. You'll notice I've got a CVS demo company selected, but if you have multiple accounts with us, you'll see all of your different suppliers listed here. So you can easily jump between Costco and CVS or Home Depot, whatever it may be, whatever account you're working on that day, working on disputing. Again, all kind of one central repository for all of your documents. We also make it really, really easy to set up your integrations. So whether you are a collect supplier or a prepaid supplier, we have integrations or connections that will work well for you. So collect, we're generally looking for BOLs, and we're getting those directly from a warehouse. So generally taking in a scanned BOL. And as Stacy mentioned, we're actually scanning that document using OCR technology and then splitting it up. So we've got, the master BOL and the supplemental BOL, and we kind of disregard all the other pages. We've also got close to 100 different carrier integrations now, and I just want to quickly kind of show you how easy it is to get those set up. So if you're using someone like a CaseStack Hub group, you can really just quickly, easily click through a few buttons, make that connection, and we can start accessing the documents that way. So collect, generally we're looking at things like email, Google Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft SharePoint. Prepaid, generally connecting directly with the carrier. And yeah, so here, obviously, I won't spend too much time on all of the different buttons and filters and things, but make it really easy to find a specific documents for specific PO numbers that you may have. You can kind of quickly jump in and see, in this case, we've got a POD and a BOL. You can view those documents themselves. It'll open up in the browser and you can kind of preview it, or just go ahead and download it and use that for the actual dispute within the portal, for CVS in this case. We also make it really easy to request documents for additional purchase orders that we don't currently know about. So the way this works is you can paste in a list of PO numbers, submit those, and then we'll go out to all of those connected carriers or warehouses that we have and search for documents pertaining to those PO numbers. If you were to add them, you would see them show up here as pending for a few minutes, and then hopefully jump over to success once we actually locate and pull the documents, and then they'll be available for you to view and download. So the Document Explorer application itself is pretty straightforward. It's kind of what you would expect in a document repository here. Again, broken out by retailer and things like that. But the overall use case, or the general use case that we see here at SupplyPike is to make disputing easier, right? So we do that here by just aggregating all of the documents for you that you might need. We also do that in the form of our browser extension. So we actually can do kind of a lightweight integration with the dispute portals themselves. And we do that with the browser extension. So this is available on the Google Chrome web store or other browser web stores. It's publicly available. So feel free to download and check it out. It does require a SupplyPike account to actually kind of, get the value and see the full functionality, but it is available to download. And really quickly, I can kind of give you an overview of how that works. So here we've got just kind of a mock dispute portal, something that looks pretty similar to the CVS dispute portal. So you'll notice that we've got purchase order numbers listed here, along with other reference numbers and dispute amounts. So any web page that has those PO numbers listed on there, the SupplyPike browser extension is smart enough to realize that this is a CVS dispute portal, and those look like CVS purchase order numbers. And so we've detected that there are 7 PO numbers on this page. We have documents for 3 of those currently. 4 of them are ones that we have not seen before, but we do make it really easy for you to request documents for those PO numbers that we don't have. So quick example here, we'll click track on this new PO number. You have the option to include kind of some additional information that might help us find those documents. Those are optional, as you'll know. So we'll just go ahead and submit those, reaching out to those connected sources. We found a document, so now we have 4 tracked PO numbers ready to go. The idea here is we could pop this open, say we want both the POD and the BOL so we can make the dispute. We'll download those real quick. And then on the next page, we would actually upload those to the dispute portal to be able to prove an invalid shipping related deduction. It will say also, you can interact with this with the browser extension, even if you're not on a dispute portal. It does work in email. So things like Rite Aid, where the dispute process is actually just emailing someone to dispute. We can interact with your email and suggest specific documents as well. It works on the Home Depot portal and things like that. But I will also say you can just search for things that aren't on the web page either. So yeah, that all works as well. So it doesn't require you to be on a web page to access your documents, but is certainly meant to make that dispute more efficient within the portal.
I've got a quick question, Carter. So you mentioned that we've got, I think you said about 100 integrations right now with different carriers and 3PLs, which is crazy and super cool. We've got an attendee that's asking, what about if they have an integration or a carrier that doesn't currently exist with SupplyPike, what does that process look like if we need to get that integration going?
Yeah, that's a great question. So SupplyPike is always looking for new ones to connect with and expand our reach. So included within a Document Explorer subscription, includes up to 3 carrier connections. And if we do not currently support it, we will build that out at no charge. Can usually turn around those new integrations in about 2 weeks, usually under that, but for sure within 2 weeks. So that's what my team does. We scope out these third-party integrations, kind of determine the optimal way to build those and interact with those services, build that out, make it available for our customers.
Awesome. That's super helpful. Thanks, Carter.
Yeah, for sure.
So I did have one more question, Carter. So obviously, kind of one of the cool things about SupplyPike is that we do have some, full automation with, the Walmart and the Target and the Kroger and Amazon today, which is really exciting, like I mentioned. Can you talk through, so does Document Explorer work for just these retailers, or can it work for any retailer, or how does that work today?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Document Explorer plays very nicely with our Deductions Navigator products and OTIF product as well. So if you are signing up for Deductions Navigator Amazon, you will have access to Document Explorer, and it'll mostly kind of just happen in the background, right? So we're syncing directly with Vendor Central to realize that you have a shortage deduction or any type of shipping related deduction. Deductions Navigator basically tells Document Explorer, hey, I need proof documentation for this shortage deduction. And then kind of behind the scenes, we go out and check all of those connected carriers or warehouses, gather BOLs, PODs, packing lists, carrier invoices, really anything, any kind of relevant documentation to the shipment itself. And then we pass that back to Deductions Navigator Amazon. It is kind of auto attached to the claim within Deductions Navigator. And that's what enables kind of the auto or one-click disputing. So everything's ready. It all happens kind of behind the scenes and automated. So that is true for Walmart, Kroger, Target, and Amazon. What we're aiming to do with Document Explorer is provide kind of that same automation around the gathering, formatting, and organization of shipping documents for that other kind of long tail of retailers. So this will work with for any retailer. We're able to pull the shipping documents, organize them, store them digitally, and make them available to you in perpetuity. So we don't have auto disputing for CVS as an example, but what we do have is the proof documentation automation, right? And then we make that small integration with the browser extension to, intelligently suggest which documents you should include with a CVS dispute.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Carter. I'm going to ask a quick follow-up question, just because we were just at Expo East and got to talk to a lot of kind of food and bev suppliers. We've been talking a lot about retailers, obviously the CVSs and the Rite Aids and the Walmarts of the world. Does Document Explorer also work with distributors? So UNFI, KeHE, and other companies like that?
It does. Yeah, for sure. So we can help you gather the documents again and then dispute more efficiently with those distributors in addition to the retailers. And what we see pretty commonly, or with some of our customers is, well, I would say maybe kind of an even split. Well, they'll come to us and say, hey, we're getting hammered with deductions from Kohl's and TJ Maxx as an example. So, that's our immediate problem. We want to sign up for Document Explorer for those two retailers so that we can dispute those deductions more efficiently. On the flip side, we've had some customers come to us and really just want Document Explorer to be a repository for all of their shipping documents across all of their retailers and distributors, kind of just one source for everything so they don't have to worry about it. And it's not so much dispute focused, but more just an organization initiative for their company in tandem with. So we'll see that initiative being driven by obviously AR folks who are the ones fighting those deductions, but we see those also driven by warehouse folks as well. So yeah, kind of two-sided there as far as whether you want a really narrow solution for disputing more efficiently with retailers and distributors, or you're just looking for across the board. I've got a stack of PDF BOLs sitting in my warehouse in a file cabinet, and I want to digitize those. That's kind of some value that we could add as well with Document Explorer.
Oh, and you bring up a really great point with that, Carter, just talking about the digitization of those BOLs and PODs. Could you talk maybe a little bit on how Document Explorer is able to kind of parse through those? And we've kind of hinted at it a little bit talking about OCR, but is that something where, like you mentioned, I'm the supplier, I've got a stack of, 100 VOLs. Do I have to scan in and say, this is BOL for PO 12345 and scan in the next one, this is BOL for 54321? Or what does that process look like? How are we actually making life easier for our supplier partners?
Yeah. I mean, that is the problem that we're solving, right? Is organizing those documents and then making them searchable in an intelligent way, basically organizing them by PO number. So we get those documents, and I mentioned, email is one really common way, or a Microsoft SharePoint or Dropbox, or however we get access to those documents. We have some technology that is fairly common in the tech world, at OCR. We've taken that and tweaked it and made it very specific to retail disputes, right? So we don't require any information about a document. You can send us a PDF and we will figure out and make sense of it. So you could send us a 100-page PDF that is, BOLs for 30 different shipments. We'll take that and we'll figure out, how it should be organized. And I think that's the big value that we add. So whenever you go to dispute, even if you can find that 100-page document, then you have to go in and figure out which page is relevant to the dispute that I'm working. And that's what SupplyPike does for you. We do that. We split up the file from 100 pages. We grab the master BOL and the supplemental BOL for a specific PO, and we make a 2-page document that is perfectly formatted for disputing a shipping related deduction.
That's awesome. And we'll even split it out by other retailer. Is that right, Carter?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you don't
that's
even
exactly
have to
right.
say, this is my Target BOL and this is my CVS BOL. We're doing all of that kind of intelligent work for you.
That's right. And we do that to try and make it as easy as possible on the warehouse, right? And I know they've got a ton of stuff going on, and it can be a challenge to get them to scan every single document and do it in a way that, here's 2 pages for this shipment and 3 pages for this shipment. What we advise them to do, just to make it really easy, is just scan every page at the end of the day. So if you shipped 20 shipments out today, at the end of the day, scan them all in, and we'll make sense of it as far as which retailer and which PO is relevant.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. So I know we're getting close to time, if you can believe it. This 30 minutes has gone by super fast. I did have one question from one of our attendees who's asking, so Document Explorer comes with Deductions Navigator, and it might be a little bit of a loaded question, just because I know, obviously, as you mentioned, Document Explorer kind of is it is included with Deductions Navigator in terms of quote unquote pricing for the Walmart, Target, Kroger, and Amazon. But if I'm not mistaken, there is a separate kind of charge if you are wanting to do Document Explorer outside, in addition to those 4 retailers we support. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So a Deductions Navigator subscription for Walmart, as an example, would include the shipping document integration, is Document Explorer by another name here at SupplyPike. So we will do the proof documentation gathering as part of the Deductions Navigator subscription. If you wanted to look at Document Explorer for a retailer that we don't support, Costco, CVS, then that would be a separate subscription. With that said, it's generally just one subscription, so it's not broken out by retailer. So you can have a kind of a single subscription for Document Explorer that covers CVS, Walgreens, Costco, Home Depot, and Lowe's, as a quick example.
Awesome. Well, That is super helpful, Carter. Thank you so much. And hopefully that helps to answer that question. If not, and if you guys have any follow-ups at all, please feel free to reach out to Carter and myself. Those are our real email addresses. They come to our inboxes. We want to make sure that we are a resource for you and that you are getting all of the answers that you need around shipping related deductions in general. If you just want to, talk, we're here. But that, I think, is all we've got for this current session. I believe we will be doing another quick run through of our next product, Deductions Navigator, after this. So hopefully you guys can stick around for that. But until our next session, I think this is where Carter and I will sign off. And hopefully you guys will enjoy the rest of the Decoded conference. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for these 30 minutes. Bye, everybody.